Hey there guys, and welcome to another SimRail video. The guys at SimRail, the devs, have been cooking quite a bit. And the newest thing to hit the store page, and the only thing DLC-wise anyway, for SimRail is this, the cargo pack, featuring this very chonk locomotive, the ET22, a couple of new wagons, and there's a huge update as well, which we'll go over a tiny bit. But this pack is going to cost you, it's about $19, about 20 bucks, $19.99. That's in American Freedom units, of course. And then the 10% off sale, which you get right now until April 29th, so you got about a week roughly, is 10% off, so $17.99. So not too shabby, 20 bucks otherwise. But let's take a quick peek at some of the updates that come with the newest patch to release alongside this new DLC. So I'm not going to go over each and everything in great depth, and I'll just link it down below if you'd like to go and check it out for yourself. But they've updated quite a bit. They've noted they can independently do bans and text or chat bans if people are acting a bit stupid, and otherwise fixed a few things as far as actual operation of the trains, added the train length and weight to the GUI timetable, which is nice. Let's see, 111A carriage passengers no longer sit in the middle of the train, so they're no longer in the aisle. They fixed or swapped the horn on the EN57, so that was the cool little multiple unit that came out in the last big update from them. And a ton of other stuff. Added some new liveries, I think. Dispatcher mode fixed a few things as well. Did some single player stuff, which we'll take a look at as part of this pack, of course, and just various other things that I'll link down below if you want to go and take a look at that. But let's get in to the nitty gritty, and that is the Bull, the ET22 itself. Here it is, guys. Here's the new chonker, the ET22, also nicknamed the Bull in Poland. Now, this is, of course, the mainstay of the pack, the new cargo pack that's out. It's also going to come with the Fallon's 441V Polish-built hoppers, as well as the ZAS or ZAES tankers. So two brand new wagons. And, of course, it's going to have some single-player missions to go along with it as well. But I also forgot to forgot to note a very big thing that came with this recent patch is the advent of ETCS, functional ETCS, for the Pendolino. So it's going to have level 1 and 2. There's going to be a test track in Zmigrod, and then they added some new signal boxes and updated those as well. And there's now shunting and switching capabilities, which I've very much been looking forward to personally. So the ET22 locomotive is essentially just a Polish 6-axle electric freight loco built by Pawawag between 1969 and 1989, so essentially 20 years. Now, from the plant or the factory, it was designated as the 201E. Now, this came from the need of a heavier duty freight locomotive coming after the EU07, in which many parts for this locomotive right here actually come from the EU07, including the traction motors. Those should be very similar, I would imagine, sound-wise anyway. Now, the Polish State Railways, or PKP, bought almost 1,200 of these units, becoming the most numerous electric standard gauge loco at the time. Now, what's neat about this unit is there were multiple variations of the unit itself. You could kind of think of it as like 3 groups of the locomotive which existed. The later stage, I believe, being most present in this, but upon looking at this and looking at the number ranges that you can see over here, it looks like they added just about all of them, which is pretty damn cool. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just going to be like one series of the ET22 itself. So there's many changes, notably headlights and things like that, and some of the bumpers or buffers, or buffer stops anyway, but namely the venting. So a lot of these, we'll start with, I think the first one I had up here, ET2. So this is 243 number range, and we'll go over to the side here. And you can note a lot of these, the newer ones or the later ones, had this grid style venting along the side. So you'll see 7 for this series along the bottom, 2 along the top, and then the exhaust vents are kind of up on the sill. They're a bit hard to see in this instance, but they're kind of up on the sill there in the gray part. So that's how you can tell some of these apart. We'll stay over here in this angle and switch to the 256. They might all be the 7 grid. Yeah, so these are the 7 grid as well. The other thing they added to the later variant of the ET22 is a window on the door. So the door, entry and exit doors, or egress, we'll just say it like that, on the locomotive changed as well. As you can tell, the headlights have too, so they have like a totally different kind of shape or socket. Let's see, the ET22 644. Very lovely color. Love that green and the mint green on there. Still has the same grid or vent arrangements as well. Different headlights too. Those are more rounded. I think there might be some small variations within the cab as well. This is ET22 836. Again, I like this kind of funky party color scheme with the emblem on there. Same. So yeah, these are all going to be the later stage. I was thinking they were going to be like the mid and later stage, but I think these are all just the later stage ET22s. The 911, there we go, got the 4 on that side, and then it should still remain the 7 along the bottom there. And then the 1163, which would be, of course, the most modern variant that you would see rolling around Polish railways to this day, or PKP. Of course, have the very nice looking paint job, more modernized headlights, and just looks overall a lot more modern. So that's the locomotive itself. Of course, we're going to hop into this thing and take a look at it in just a minute, but let's look at the rolling stock while we're in here. This is the depot, by the way, so you can take a peek at everything you want. You've also got information over here as well on each thing that you look at. But post 1980, you know, some were relegated for passenger service, so you would see these, you know, rolling passenger trains, you know, while the freight numbers kind of declined in Poland in this general area. But it was also known locally and regionally as the Bull because its size, basically. So it was a big old chonker, especially compared to like the EU07 over there. This thing weighed in at 120 tons, 63 feet long, thereabouts, running via 3,000 volt DC catenary overhead line equipment. So pantograph pickup, of course, max speed of 78 mile an hour and power output of 4,020 horsepower and 94,000 pounds of tractive effort. That is quite a bit. So that's your ET22. Let's look at the freight wagons. Here we have, so here's some of the new ones here, the 441Vs. These were actually made in Poland, you know, used to haul aggregate. They also have manual dumpers on the sides. I think they're pneumatically controlled, and these suckers look good too, man. I'm assuming a lot of your single player missions that are going to be available for the Bull are going to carry these as well. And then here's the other variant here with just another color. But damn, these look good, man. These look very nice. The coloring, the weathering, just the model itself. SimRail does not disappoint. That is for sure. Good, good, good looking stuff. Where are the tankers? I don't know what the actual designation for the tankers are. Those came in the last update. This must be them here. Yeah, so wow, you got a lot of variants of the tankers. Holy moly. So these are ZAS or ZAES tankers. Again, haul, you know, fuel, diesel, things like that. And they look pretty damn good as well. They're kind of short. I forgot the total amount that these things hold. I know the hoppers we just looked at are like 64 ton, I think, 65, somewhere thereabouts. Look at another livery here. You got a white, or a gray and a white, and then kind of that brown, or we'll just call it rust look. And then the 406 RB. What is the difference here? I don't know. I can't tell. Trying to spot any kind of difference in how it looks, but I can't really tell. Huh. Anyway, let's hop in and see if we can find a training manual of sorts for the actual Bull, the ET22, which I've been very excited to take a look at. As of right now, I don't think any of the shunting capabilities are going to be within multiplayer until they figure out how they're going to include that. But I'm sure they will pop up at some point, so we'll go to Train Driver. All right, guys, so we loaded in one of the scenarios that you get for freight. So I think there's 2 passenger scenarios with the ET22 and 2 freights. One was in the winter, and this one is in the autumn and in the rain. Now, there is a tutorial that you can go over. I kind of condensed it down. I've got little, cliff notes right next to me to try and remember, because this thing is fairly in-depth. It's probably the most in-depth thing since maybe the EN57, the last multiple unit that came out. But I just wanted to get out for a minute and just appreciate the way that this game looks. When you compare it to other things like, say, a slightly different scale, Train Sim World, for example, the world and the lighting and the color palette just look so incredible in SimRail, and they always have since day one. I mean, look at that. So it's, late day, autumn, you can see the glow of the sun going down or setting just in the distance. And then again, the way, things like rain reflect on the train, on the body itself. It's just a damn good looking game within the Unity engine, of course. And so this scenario has us pulling some of these tanks. You can now see with the updated UI, which is pretty cool. It tells you your weight. So this is 2,328 ton, over 1,000 feet long. And the little brake icon, I'm not totally sure what that means. Maybe it's the amount of like brake force that you have per what kind of train you're pulling, so on and so forth. So the model of this thing just looks incredible. It goes without saying. You literally have to say no more. Stuff just looks really, really good in SimRail. But anyway, let's get this thing fired up and get on the move and see how she handles. I have played a tiny bit with the passenger train, but it weighed close to nothing. I mean, the friggin' locomotive probably weighed more than the actual train itself. So let's get up in here. Now, one of the first things you're going to want to do once you hop in one of these is not only close the door so you can move around. It's kind of a weird click spot. There we go. Nope. There we go. Close it. Your electrical panel cabinet right here. So we're going to pop that open. You don't have to open both, generally, I don't think. And you're going to want to turn the battery knife switch on. Or switch, not exactly a knife switch. And as soon as you do that, you'll hear the DSD safety buzzer. So to get rid of that thing right off the bat is enter the cab. You're going to put your cabin activation key. We're going to turn that on. And then you're going to put your reverser in a direction. Can be forward or backwards, and then you can clear that buzzing sound, which once it starts, you can't wait to turn it off. So we've done that. We've got the reverser and forward or reverse. We've cleared the DSD. Now we need to unlock the traction motor overload relay button anyway. So that is... I think it's this right here. This is what's going to get us started. So unlock traction motor overload relay. So we're going to hit that. That light will extinguish. And then we are also going to unlock relay for the converters in the heat, which is right here. And then that light extinguishes. So from there, we're going to enter the pneumatic section of the back of the locomotive, or the midsection anyway. So we're going to go back here, and it's on this side mainly. You might be able to reach some of it from over there, but this is your pneumatic section. You can tell, obviously, by the tubes. The first thing we're going to do back here is close the main tank valve. So see if I can remember which one that is. I think it was the one that I had initially at the very, very bottom there. See, I believe it's this one. So we're going to shut that off. And then we're going to close the Panto compressor valve as well. If I can remember where that's at. Panto, there it is. So we're going to shut that. We've got both of those closed. Now we're going to go back to the relay cabinet that's over there. So I guess the only way right now is you can just kind of go around and through. God, just got to stop and admire the way the inside of this thing looks, man. The cabin, the control room back here. It just looks good. I mean, that's all there is to say, honestly. So this is our cabinet right here, electrical cabinet, right? This thing is kind of hidden off to the side. This is the little button that you're going to press over here, and you're going to have to hold this for about 60 seconds. So this is the button. This is your compressor button. It's going to charge it up so you can raise the pantograph. So you're going to need to hold it down for like 60 seconds. Here we go. You can hear the compressor manually firing up, which is a very nice sound, might I add. And you should be able to tell once it's full. Halfway there. And I'm assuming the weather or the temperature, time of year, may have to do with this as well because, well, it's air and temperature. Okay. I don't know if that was enough. There we go. Wow. So yeah, that seems like it took longer than the little scenario I tried in the summertime. So just make sure you hold it down till the pumping stops. We're going to go back in the cabin, and we're going to raise the pantograph switches, which are down here in the middle, I thought. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to pop that bad boy. We're going to hit that one and that one. So both pantographs. Now wait for the kilovolt gauge to rise, which just happened as soon as we looked at it. So that was fairly quick. Now, the main circuit breaker, I forget what they call it in this, we're going to have to flick that switch. So where is it? Main switch. Bam, we're going to click that on. Now we're going to close the main switch button, which should be the green button right next to it. Blue light illuminates, so we are getting there. Let's see. We got to do the converter switch now, I think, which is the same deal. Converter switch, converter switch. That it. There it is up there. So top left. Oh yes, you can hear the audio of the air compressor coming to life. Very nice. And then we got to do the enable compressor switch as well. So there it is, right next to it. Now you can hear it really running. Now we got to turn the radio on. So you're going to go to the back wall, to the right here, and this four-way switch. Set it to 1, and then you're going to go to the box overhead. You can see the red light over there and no light illuminated to the right of the switch. Flick that. You'll now see a green light up there. Now we're just going to come over here and turn on the radio, just like all the other radios in the PKP system and within SimRail. Radio is now on. Now, I don't always remember which channel it is. Let's try with 3.
Train 423042 ready at the entry semaphore T after locomotive repair.
423042, Katowice understood. Providing semaphore.
Received.
That sounds like AI. It's like it changes each time. It sounds like weird. All right, so you're going to want to wait for the reservoir to fill as well, which is about the red line on the gauge over there, and it's getting there. Probably hit the radio dispatch too soon. So the far gauge to the right, you'll see it. You want to get it right about to where that red line is there. So we'll wait for that to happen. Then we got to run back to the back of the cab. In the meantime, you can still open windows. Still got sun visors. Here's our handbrake. We'll release that in a minute. We'll see if this little cabinet opens. It does. You got a nice little set of dominoes in there in case you get bored. You can open that. Have no clue what that is. Battery charging source converter. Very nice. That one, that's your hot plate. Very cool. Can make some soup. Stove disabled. Can you turn it on? Tell me it turns red. Tell me that bad boy turns red. Come on. All right, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We ain't got time for that, though, because we got some tanks we got to be hauling. Let's see, our compressor, or our train line is good, so we're going to go back here now. It's a bit loud back here. So that's filled. Let's go back to the pneumatic section. Now we're going to open the main supply, which is at the bottom. So that's good. So these are what we closed initially, remember? And now we're going to open the Panto compressor as well. Where'd it go? There it is. So those are both open. It is loud back here and it sounds very, very good. So let's get back in the cab. You could, of course, hit the 1 key and teleport there. So we're going to go ahead and charge the brakes. So this is your train brake handle right here. This is your locomotive brake handle right here. Let's go ahead and charge those up. So we're going to put it in the running position, which is 0. And then I'm going to fully apply the locomotive brake. And then we're going to charge the train brake with this key here, the brake releaser. And that should get us going, I hope. There we go. You can see the red bar on the bottom right doing its thing, charging. This is a fairly girthy train, so it may take a moment. You can see the middle gauge there doing its thing. Should get right around to where that red line is, if I'm not mistaken. I got to figure out how to turn the wipers on in this sucker. Can hear the compressor rolling once again, which is very nice. The sounds on this are really good. Alright, so I'm going to leave this to charge, or fill, actually. But you don't want to do that for too long because you can overcharge it, and then you'll be up a creek without a paddle if you need some air in a spicy emergency. So I'm just going to leave it there for a minute. And then we'll set it back to 0. And it should do its thing on its own, albeit a little bit slower. Oh, cool. I like the emergency brake handle there. You just yank that bad boy out. Let's try and find the wipers. And we also need to get our headlights on. So I believe the headlight switches are on this side here. Headlamp left, top, and right. Now, if you're doing a shunting maneuver, I believe it's just one of these, like right side, for example. In signal, that's your red markers, of course. Cabin heating, what the hell, we'll turn that on. Instrument lighting, we'll turn that on. Reserve overall lighting, cab lighting. Let's see what all these do here. I have no clue. We have a sander switch there, very cool. Current setting, train heating, cabin heating, main switch, pantograph. Just looking over all these because I honestly have no clue what a lot of them do. Where are the wipers? Here it is. And there we go. Here's our wiper speed. We'll turn that right down. We'll do like 35. That sounds like a nice, wholesome number. Get back in the seat. Look at that seat, by the way, man. The friggin' models in SimRail. There's literally nothing to say. It just looks really, really good. Let's hop back in here. We'll take a peek outside with those lights on. They've always done a really nice job with lighting and light colors as well. Hear the ambience of the rain pattering down. Are we good on the brakes? We're getting there. Let's go ahead and hit that charge button. Actually, let's try and fill it here. We want it around 5. If you just look at the UI bar, there we go. We are rolling, baby. We are rolling. Accidentally shut the brake off. Dingus move. Let's go ahead and release the independent brake. And just like the EU07, you have to close the connection for the power. So over here you need to put it on throttle position 1. Once you do that, you'll see that you have drawn a current. You'll see that little blue gauge on the bottom right. And now we can throttle this baby up. Now, like the other stuff within this game, you do not want to exceed about 600 amps. So let's go ahead and start throttling up here. So we've got a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, about 400 feet, so we're not going to get too crazy with it. Oh, the flange squeal sounds very crusty. I love it. Nice old tower there. Man, it just looks dreary in game. This looks so nice. It's just kind of like a light overcast with a little drizzle. Very nice. We'll give it another notch. Another. And there's 48 individual notches. And just like some of the other locomotives within the game, is you can get it to like a higher running gear. I don't know how to specifically talk about it, the terminology, if you will, but you can get it in a higher running gear and then use your shunting handle, which will give you a better, higher speed operation when you're not pulling a lot of heavy weight, i.e. like a passenger train, for example. They go over that pretty well in the tutorial, by the way. Go ahead and notch up some more. Test the horn out. Sounds nice. It sounds nice. It's a good audio file. Give her another notch. We do have a yellow that's blinking. I have no clue what's going on up here. We're driving through Katowice, Zawadzi. Are we stopping anyway? It's always hard to tell if you're stopping with freight stuff. I know with passenger stuff, I think there's a PH on the left-hand side where your timetable is. We do have our booklet right here, which if I'm honest, don't fully understand. I need to study that a bit more, but it gives you all your timings and where you're going to be and things like that, and where you're going to end up. So we'll close that for now. Oh, nice. We have another one sitting there in the middle, just kind of chilling on its own. Go ahead and throttle down. I think that's just about going to do it for the Cargo Pack ET22 video. As seen here, you can find them in multiplayer. You just got to dig around a little bit. For the first couple weeks, it'll be super popular, so they might be hard to find. But I want to get in and do the scenarios. I've been messing around with it quite a bit, almost half the day, probably more, trying to figure things out. And I was banging my head against the wall with the cab changing. I could not figure it out. I even restarted the whole damn locomotive once over, and I still could not do it. So I'm really going to have to crack down, get a grip on it, get some more notes together, like with the starting sequence of the locomotive itself, and just get used to it. Just have to drive a lot of it. So I'll probably come back with another video and do the entirety of one of these scenarios where you actually do some shunting, and then we'll get into the ETCS now capable Pendolino high-speed train, of course, and check that out and see what that's all about. But for now, that is it, guys. Just wanted to take a quick look at the very nice ET22 Bull cargo pack. It's definitely worth 20 bucks from what I've seen so far. Right now it's like 17 bucks until about a week from now, and then it's going to go back to the $19.99. But it just adds more to SimRail, and you know, it's still good. I haven't seen anything that's come out for SimRail, update or otherwise, or content that is not good. So it's very nice. I'll be playing quite a bit of this, at least for the next several days, till I can get a handle on it, like I said. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. We'll be back with some more next time. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.